Going through security was actually super fast and easy. They do need proof of vaccination, and then they needed a COVID test 2 days prior to getting on the ship, and then they actually did one COVID test right before we got on the ship. And you would think that that would be super time consuming and kind of a pain, but it actually went really fast. I was kind of surprised, so good thing so far. Look at these medallions, they just hold up to the door to unlock it. Pretty cool. What do you think of our room, babe?
It's actually not bad for an interior room.
Leaving LA. Got my beautiful wife here staying warm with her cup of coffee. So we have about an hour before the first show. We're creating what's called a tag along that you can do either on the computer screen or on your phone. You can choose between a turtle, seahorse, or a fish, and then you get to totally customize it. And then when you walk by the screens on the ship, your tag along pops up.
Oh, you're Deborah. That's me.
Jamie ordered coffee in bed from the app. We're gonna see how long it takes to get here. It's really nice is you can do pretty much everything on the app, and you can get a order of food, drinks, coffee, whatever they have on the ship, and they supposedly come find you. So we'll see how long this takes.
Thank you.
We're at 22 minutes 33 seconds.
It beats driving to Starbucks and waiting in line.
So they don't have a track on the ship, so this is our morning exercise, doing the flights of stairs.
So Corey and I have a bet going to see who can stay the leanest on the cruise. So we're gonna weigh ourselves in for the first day, and then we'll weigh ourselves back out the last day.
You need the ship to stay still, and you. What, 135?
So let's say 199.
Day 2 on our morning walk. The first day we kind of laid around, just relaxed a lot. There isn't as much to do on the Princess Cruise Lines as there is on Carnival. It is catered a little bit more towards the older crowd. So I think we ended up watching like 4 movies. We did go to one of the game shows. What do you think Fill in the Blank is about?
I think it's probably like maybe...
Good evening everybody, welcome to the Vista Lounge for the Fill in the Blank game show.
We went to the gym and the usual stuff of, you know, stuffing your face on a cruise. Good morning. Back on the ship. The first port day is done. I wouldn't necessarily consider it a success. I'm actually slightly disappointed. A little bit in our pre-planning and kind of a lot in the island of Oahu, where Honolulu is, where we ported. Basically, from our Uber driver, we learned that the governor here is really trying to shut it down for a 3rd time because of COVID, and that the mayors of all the islands have been fighting back to not do that. Well, you can still really feel it here compared to where we've been in the States. The restaurants shut down at around 2 p.m., which is super early, and a lot of the other facilities that you would go to for being a tourist close around 4 o'clock too. So being that our ship ports at 11, it really only gives you enough time to do like one thing. And we tried to do a little bit of everything and kind of ended up shooting ourselves in the foot. So we were able to do about half of Pearl Harbor. That's what we did first, so all that stuff was still open. I would recommend focusing on one area and like one thing. So Pearl Harbor is good, but you can easily spend 8 hours there. We did the Arizona Memorial, and then we went over to the Missouri Battleship. They also have a submarine tour you can do, and then they have the airstrip. We came back, tried to get food. By that time it was about 2 o'clock, so pretty much that's how we found out that everywhere was basically closed. We ended up having to get food at Jack in the Box. And prior to this, we had just picked up our rental car to do our loop around the island. Tried making our way over to Diamond Head Crater, and I was gonna do, it's about a 4.8 mile hike up that, and I was gonna try and do that, but it said by the time we were getting there, they're gonna close in 20 minutes, so I didn't have time to do that. I would definitely recommend either focusing on Pearl Harbor, do the 4 attractions, spend the full 8 hours there, or go to Diamond Head Crater, do the hike, view that area, and then go down to the beaches, or go up to the North Shore, go to the Polynesian Center, and then learn about their culture and see the beaches there, and then head back. Hopefully tomorrow would be a little bit better. Today we were at our second port, Kauai. You have to forgive me for my pronunciation of the Hawaiian language. So when we got there, we had a lot more fun than yesterday. Today was a blast. I think the difference was we narrowed it down to just doing 2 things and made sure that we really were able to experience those 2 things instead of trying to do everything on the island. We took a cab to get a rental again. Got basically the exact same car, convertible Camaro. Our first stop was driving out to Waimai Canyon, and then when you get to the canyon, they do have paid parking, so it was $10 for the car and then $5 per person, which isn't bad, but the view is absolutely gorgeous. And it is just a really short loop, so it's like maybe a 5-minute walk to walk around to those platforms. But then driving back is almost better views, because then you get to see the whole ocean in front of you when you're driving back and you're still driving around the windy roads. Once we got down, we did kind of a quick snack stop break and then made our way to the falls. So the falls were Walilua Falls.
Walilua, I think is how you say it. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's not Wally.
Which were about 30-minute drive from the port where we were. And the drive there is pretty easy. It's like 5 minutes out of town. I was like, how are we so close to these gorgeous waterfalls when we're driving out of town? We started by going down to the bottom of the waterfalls, which is a little bit more rugged. Oh, you are gonna need your hands and feet. It is pretty steep.
And very muddy, so it's slippery. They
also have ropes attached there for you to hang on to, so it's not terrible, but I would definitely bring shoes that get good traction and shoes that you really don't care about, because when you get down to the bottom, they're not only going to be covered in mud, but you're going to have to cross a stream, so they are going to get wet. And then I just used my shoes as basically like water shoes, because it's really rocky to walk into where the waterfall is, but it's a gorgeous area to swim around in, and it's breathtaking views. So once you do that, then you hike back up to the top, and then you can do the top of the waterfall, which is the other side of absolutely gorgeous, because you can walk right out to the ledge, and it has 2 streams on the right and the left that fall down, and it's just breathtaking watching where it goes down and then having the extra elevation there. I would highly recommend bringing bug spray though, because we got eaten alive by mosquitoes.
Or something. I did not bring proper shoes. I brought slip-ons. There are slopes where you're really depending on the rope and your shoes to kind of catch. Bring a backpack with a swimsuit, a towel, some sunscreen, like he said. Bug spray is important, and enjoy it. It's absolutely beautiful. We did find out on our way back that there were 15 people yesterday. Today's Tuesday, so Monday, 15 people from one of the cruise ships were arrested for doing what we just said.
If you are staying on the island where the canyon is, that road keeps going, you take a right to turn off to the canyon. But if you turn to the left, it keeps going, and I think it goes for about another 30 minutes, and there's a ton of scenic overlooks and hiking trails back there. There's one that's about 11 miles long. I can't remember the name of it right offhand, but it's supposed to be absolutely gorgeous, and if you go all the way to the end, you can go down to the beach. What was your favorite thing from today?
Although I cried a little bit, I liked the waterfall.
Yeah, I mean, actually liked that part.
Well, I liked being at the waterfall, it was very beautiful. The views are absolutely gorgeous. Being able to swim in, like, I don't even think it's a spring, I don't know what it's called, but the bottom of the waterfall was just, it was nice and cool. The water was beautiful colored. The waterfall itself was just splashing down on you. It was just very peaceful and very centering for my soul. But the climb up and down was very difficult for me.
Good job, babe.
I don't like it. I don't want to do it again.
I think swimming in the bottom of the waterfall and then getting to the top ledge and kind of looking over and experiencing that was probably like my favorite part too. However, I did love the drive out from the canyon. Obviously the canyon views is awesome, but the drive out from the canyon is really cool. So that was probably a very close second. One thing to keep in mind for the canyon and when you're driving up the elevation too is we're here in the beginning of February and it was 75 in the morning when we were going up. When we got to the canyon it was actually 62 degrees. So plan on it being about 15 degrees colder, and they even said that a lot of times it can get up to a 25-degree difference, so bring warmer clothes. But then when we got back down midday it was like 80, so it was perfect down closer to the beach. We'll see what happens tomorrow. So we're finally back to the cruise ship at the end of day 3, cruise port day 3. And today we did the same thing, rented a convertible. This time we got a Mustang though, so switched it up from white Camaro to black Mustang. And at first what we did is we drove out to the Volcano National Park and went and hiked the crater. So you go down and it's a 4-mile loop. You will hike over an old active volcano crater and then hike back up the other side. So if you do it clockwise, I personally thought it was easier, but you go down you go down kind of a ramp that winds back and forth, and then you hike across the crater, and then you hike back up the other side, and the other side is stairs. Upstairs or downstairs? Upstairs is clockwise, downstairs counterclockwise, and definitely bring good hiking shoes because you are walking over old lava, so it's really rough. So then after we did that 4-mile hike, we went over to the other side of the crater, which I think would actually be better to start with. So when you're going in, entering the park, then you would go to the right. We went to the left and did the first thing on the left, but I would go to the right, and you go up to like an observatory that overlooks the whole crater. So you see kind of the older crater to the left and then like the active volcano to the right. Yeah, the volcano house is actually the first thing you come up to when you go into the entrance.
To the left.
So this is at the firehouse. You can see the whole crater where the volcano is right out in front of you. It's right at the park's entrance. And it's also a hotel that you can stay at right here.
This is incredible.
You can get dinner or lunch there. And what's really nice about that is you can actually stay there, and then that way if you were staying there you could go out and see the volcano at night because they're open 24 hours. Then you can see the lava actually glowing. So after you do the 4-mile hike, then you go a little bit further down that road, and it's like an old road that's now blocked off. There's parking to the right, and you hike down that. I think it was like a mile.
It's a mile.
Down.
It's paved.
Yeah, it's an old road, so it's still paved. But it's about a mile hike down to the like observatory, their lookout, and you can actually see down and see the lava kind of like gurgling up and popping and stuff. It's active, but at least when we were there, it wasn't as cool as the pictures you'll see on Google where like lava is shooting everywhere and it's all fancy looking.
I wish. Maybe if we flew over, there was a ton of helicopter tours you can choose from, which we didn't do this time around. If you have longer time here, then do it. Maybe sunset.
So that was the crater. You can keep going down that road. It's probably another hour drive and it will go all the way down to the ocean. So if you're staying on the island, I would highly recommend that. However, being that we're on a cruise, we just didn't have the time for it. So we went back out, and then it was about a 40-minute drive down their main road, which is like Highway
It's like a
Highway 11, and you go down to the black sandy beaches. So the black sandy beaches I thought were awesome because it looks like you're walking around on like little black diamonds because they sparkle and everything.
It's really pretty. It's like see put in the bottom of your fish tank at home.
Yeah, and it's just something different. Like I've never seen black sands. If you're lucky, you'll get to see some turtles. We saw some popping up swimming out there, but we weren't able to get close to them or have them come up on the beach. So if you go up to the parking and you take a left, there are some hiking trails where you can walk along the beach. And then you kind of see like what you would see in the movies and things that are advertised where the water comes up and then like shoots out of those holes. That's kind of like the side of the beach there. That was pretty much our day because then it was about an hour and 15-minute drive back to the cruise ship. And I did forget my medallion and our rental car. So we are the last two to get on the ship. An accident.
Alright guys, welcome back.
Thank you.
Shit.
Don't be the last two. We were like 5 minutes late, technically, and I feel really bad for the people that were at the cruise ship, but they were awesome.
Yeah, they were cheering for us.
They didn't seem mad or anything. They were just happy that they didn't leave two people behind, but we were the very last people on the ship today, and I do not recommend being that guy. What was your favorite thing about today?
I really liked the beach. Was really cool. That was something that I've never seen before.
The beach was definitely gorgeous, but I still think my favorite thing was that 4-mile loop. One, because I like hiking, and it was just cool like walking on an old active volcano, and you can literally see like how the lava flowed and everything. And then some of the older parts just look like broken up asphalt basically everywhere.
Yeah, kind of cranked up. Oh, you forgot to talk about we went through it's called a lava tube. It's a lava form. It looks like a cave.
Where we started the loop is literally across the street from the lava tube. So you can just park there, go do the lava tube, and then go do the 4-mile loop. Yeah. The nice thing about Big Island is it's technically the biggest mountain in the world if you include what goes on under the water. The peak above sea level is about 13,600, and it's really cool when you see it when you're coming up with a cruise ship because the whole peak is covered in clouds and it actually snows up there sometimes. So if you're staying on the island and are a hiker like me, I would love to go up there. And I don't know if you can drive the whole way, but you can definitely drive a lot of the way up there. They also have a NASA research center up there and some sort of telescope. Tomorrow's our last stop, Maui.
Maui, I'm really excited for Maui.
Today we did Maui. It's the last day of our cruise ports in Hawaii. I still had a ton of fun. We rented another white Camaro. Look at my beautiful wife. What was really cool about today is when we booked the car last night, I just booked the cheapest one, which was like $51. And then when we got there, typically we request to get a convertible, and they just offered it today and for the same price. So today was our cheapest rental. It ended up being, with taxes and everything, only $70. That was awesome. That was with Avis, so go Avis. Otherwise, I think the 121, which was the second cheapest, it was Enterprise. We took the car around the road to Hana, and then we were trying to stop in the national park that's right next to Hana. It's got a really weird long name. It starts with a K again.
All of them start with K's, so it's not helpful at all.
And they're really hard to pronounce. Anyways, we pulled up.
It's considered the black sand beach in Maui.
Apparently you have to have reservations in advance, and we did not. I didn't even know that. So we went to a local beach close to it, and it ended up actually being awesome. We sat in there, it had great waves, met an older couple there, hung out, laid out, and that was a blast. And then they actually told us about the food trucks up in town in Hana, and they're actually like a bunch of trucks kind of in a square there, and they have awesome food. We got some Thai, and it was really good. And then finished the drive. We were gonna go back the way we came and stop at more waterfalls, The way that we came was super tight S-curves. It had absolutely gorgeous views driving out to Hana. It's basically a rainforest, and there's tons of waterfalls and stuff that you can stop at. So it was 2 hours to get to Hana, and then he said it was 3 hours to get back, which was pretty accurate. So the full loop without stopping and driving at like a fairly good pace where you can still see stuff is about 5 hours total. And on the way back, it switches kind of from rainforest to almost like quick cliffs, and it's dirt roads, and it's pretty tight. So if you're really afraid of heights and driving like that, it might not be recommended.
Corey thinks that we're in a truck right now.
Always.
Bahaing through this in a freaking two-door sport car.
Off-road for life. And that was basically today, and then got back in town, did some shopping, and got back on the cruise ship. We made it on time today, so that's always a plus. Favorite part?
I mean, the beach was fun.
For finding a beach that wasn't planned, it was an awesome beach. Driving the road to Hana in a convertible is also a favorite thing.
I'm just laughing at you.
Why don't you try and piece it together? And
I know.
Now you're fucking it up. Driving the road to Hana in a convertible is a favorite thing in its own. And then whatever stops you go along the way are just bonuses. A couple days at sea, and then we'll see you in Mexico. All right. Last day was Ensenada. Fun but bittersweet. It's basically, you get off the ship, there's sea lions right by the ship, like literally right outside the ship. Ensenada, take 2. It's a great place to shop if you want to go shopping and bargain some deals. You'll definitely get bugged by a lot of people trying to sell you stuff. They do have a fish market. It's a blue building, so when you take that first left, just look for the blue buildings. They literally have fresh fish from that bay. And then on the left side, there's gonna be places that will cook whatever you wanna buy. We got the fish tacos, which are actually mako shark caught right there. And they're pretty good, they're deep fried. Other than that, there's not a whole lot to do in Ensenada, just because they don't really have a whole lot of excursions. I guess the most famous thing that they have to do there is the vineyards for wine tasting. So if you're a wine connoisseur, this port would probably be pretty good for you. But other than that, there's not a whole lot of
A wine what?
really cool stuff to do. A vineyard.
Yeah, you said you're a wine
Connoisseur. Why is that funny? This just means you like wine and you collect them. What would you call it?
You collect wine?
I don't. I apparently collect artwork now.
We've got Mr. Anatoly Maitland, Michael Goddard, and of course Thomas Kincaid. The estimated retail price on this package, folks, is going to be $13,795. $13,795, folks. I'm going to start putting off right now at just $4,750. Yeah, but a bit now $4,750 now. We're able to add a bit now $4,750. Let's go $5,000. Able to, but able to buy now at $5,000 now. We're able to bid now $5. Going to go once and $5 now. Going to go twice. Fair and final. Sold to bid card number 111 for $4,750. Good job, great job. Well done, well played.
I collect artwork.
Yeah, I just pay for it. You can take a little like port cruise. I don't know what you'd really call it, but
Yeah, it's like a little Jimmy.
who's Jimmy?
That's what the boats are. A little Jimmy.
You can take like a double decker, which I don't know, they probably hold like 20 people, but they only cost $5. And we were offered that right away this morning, but we wanted to go see the town first, so we said no,
it was
we would
cold.
come back. We did take just a small like private 2-person boat, and that was $35 for just the 2 of us. So it's still not that bad, and it's a little bit more intimate if you don't want to go with a whole bunch of people. But they pull right up to the sea lions, so you can get right next to them, get excellent pictures. Still $35 between 2 people. I'm sure you could easily fit 4 people on the boat, but that was a lot of fun too.
Take 3.
GoPro keeps dying, I don't know why. It's got 89% battery left. The overall cruise was excellent. Getting on was pretty quick. I wish they would have told us that we didn't actually need the COVID test like 2 days in advance, because we ended up having to spend $138 per person in LA.
It's a precaution they had to do for Hawaii, because Hawaii is really strict right now.
However, the ship was also, it was just over 50% capacity. I really can't think of much to complain about. I mean, there's little small things. Like, for the most part, the service was really good, especially our waiter. Happy birthday to you! Our waiter's name was Daniel from Serbia, who was awesome.
Yeah, fantastic.
You'll probably make friends with your waiters, because we've had really good waiters in the past, and they're just excellent.
I was a little concerned with when we were boarding, we saw the clientele that Princess brings is double our age, and I'm like, oh, well, this will be interesting, and it actually has been quite interesting, but in a positive way.
There's a World War II veteran, World War II, so like he was like in his 90s, which is crazy, and he was walking around. You know, he's not one of the people in the wheelchairs. This guy is, he's a badass. I'm gonna say it. The one thing that's really different between Carnival, which we've done in the past, and Princess, with the older age of the majority of people, is they have a ton of trivia. And I'm like, I'm personally not good at trivia, because a lot of the trivia is from back then too, so I don't even know any of the answers. But the trivia is packed.
It's so funny too.
There's so many people at the trivia, and they only had one like true comedian on the ship, and even he was packed.
Yeah.
And then the other stuff was like kind of like magic and juggling, and you know, the guys are cool, but I think even the older crowds would prefer the true comedians, because that show was way more packed than the other ones.
Yeah.
So I would like to see just comedians like every day, just like Carnival does it. Princess Cruise Line is great to just relax and go slow. The one thing I would do to maybe make the cruise better is there really isn't that many younger people. However, there's enough where I think if for the nightclub at night, if they actually played like nightclub music, you might get at least, you know, 5 to 10 of the younger people that are on the ship, because there are younger people on the ship. However, nobody goes to the nightclub because let's face it, the older crowd's not going to be out there partying at midnight.
They party by the piano.
They do. The piano is packed. The music in the club, you know, there's not very many people out of that older group that go to that. So I don't really know why they play the older music at 11 or midnight or whatever, because they know those people don't show up. And even the cruise director was kind of making a joke out of it at the shows, like that nobody's going to show up. So if you already know nobody's going to show up, why wouldn't you kind of change it up to try and get some of the younger crowd that might actually show up and enjoy it, and something different to separate it from the older crowd on the ship? The one other improvement that I just thought of is when we're talking about the Medallion app, I think the app really needs like some updating or something. I know it's new, but it literally worked like a third of the time. When it works, it's excellent. However, it almost never worked in our room, and I don't know why. It would work when we're like up on the Lido deck, but it like didn't work in our room. Like, we couldn't load the schedule, and I feel like when you're chilling in your room, that's when you would want to see the schedule to see what you're gonna do the next day or whatever, and it would just sit there on the loading screen. So yeah, the trip was good. We are now connoisseurs.
Now art. This lovely man bought me.
Babe, you ain't got no pants on.
I know, I had to put a shirt on to not be naked. I packed all my clothes.
We'll see you next time for the next cruise.
See ya.
We're back home. I did lose our bet, so I gained 10 pounds, and I think you gained what, like 5? It was hard. Basically, when you're on the cruise ship, it's hard to do cardio, and they just have so much delicious food everywhere. I just started adding on a dessert here and there, and
Or 5.
it just got to me. So we started our massages like 2 days ago, but now it's time to get to work.